Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Adam22. I am back. I'm sorry I know I haven't done a news video in a little while. It just didn't really feel like the right time with the whole passing of Nipsey and everything. For the most part, in these videos, we tend to focus on stuff that's a little bit more lighthearted, and the whole Nipsey situation was honestly just so devastating and depressing that I just don't really want to touch it in one of these videos. So if you guys want to hear about the Nipsey situation and how terrible and sad that whole thing is, I can provide a couple of resources. We did just drop a video on the No Jumper channel where Desto Dub goes to the site of where Nipsey worked and was ultimately murdered, and he sort of shows the whole area. Dub was friends with him for like 10 years plus, so that's some good content right there. And obviously you should definitely go head over to his memorial on Thursday. I'm sure there's gonna be all kind of content from that and everything, but for the most part in this video we're gonna focus on more lighthearted stuff. R.I.P. Nipsey Hussle. First story. Okay, so Action Bronson has been doing the rounds. He's been doing a whole bunch of media promoting this new book that he's got. It's called Stoned Beyond Belief, and this is a little bit old at this point. But about a week ago, Action Bronson went on a podcast that is run by the Barstool Sports Squad, and when he went on that show, they decided to ask him about Ghostface. Now, I did an Action Bronson interview a little while back, and I did not actually ask him about Ghostface, and the reason why is because I figured that beef was clearly a misunderstanding, and it was also just very brief in general. Like, it didn't last long, it flared up, it was over within a week. So, you know, really not that big a deal in the overall history of Action Bronson's career. But when Action Bronson went on this Barstool podcast, they felt the need to bring up the story, and they asked him about it, and you can see that clip right here.
I mean, there's lots of respect, but I don't know about to that extent.
Would you send Ghostface out there?
Why would we want to send him there?
Maybe if the aliens are being hostile.
Hey, that's fucking ridiculous, bro. I bet you think that's really cute, right? That you brought that up.
Nah,
there you go. It's fucking stupid.
I was curious to think to
it's
hear
dumb.
your thoughts.
I'd like to slam you through a fucking wall.
Okay, so you see there, Action threatens to actually throw the interviewer through the table, which is an interesting response. I guess I kind of understand where he's coming from, because you got to understand that when you're a person in the public eye and you're going to do interviews, and especially when you're doing an interview like this that's not really like of the culture, you know, like if Action Bronson went and did No Jumper or The Breakfast Club, they probably wouldn't bring up the Ghostface thing, because, you know, we sort of understand that it was really just a speed bump in his career. I actually read a blog post by the guy who did this interview, and he made it clear that he thought that this was one of the biggest things that ever happened in Action Bronson's entire career, which it really wasn't. But I mean, that's what happens when you go and do interviews with people that are not really like hip-hop heads per se. Anyway, Action threatened him, and I don't think he was very serious about the threat, but he did march out afterwards, and he wasn't having it with the interview, which I understand. I totally get that, because at the end of the day, being a public personality, you have to answer like 5 million people asking you about the most boring but, you know, consistent things in your life for the whole entire rest of the time that you're alive, and it sucks. But, you know, think about like when I had the whole little thing, I was all over the news for a while for like hopping over the homeless on BMX bikes, which is, you know, not true. I did not have anything to do with it. My friends did it, and there was a video of it, but I had nothing to do with it. I still got to answer questions about that all the time. You know how annoying that is? It's pretty annoying. Actually, to be honest, at this point, it wouldn't be that annoying, because I haven't talked about it in such a long time that it's almost like it's new again. But if you're Action Bronson and you're out there and you're promoting your book, maybe you're promoting some music, whatever, do you really want to be answering the same boring questions about Ghostface and this beef that you were in for like a couple of days, like many, many years ago? Probably not. Okay, next story. Lil Xan announced a couple of months ago that he was going to be a father, that he was going to have a baby with his girlfriend, Annie, and there was a lot of speculation that it might have been fake based on some images from the ultrasound and everything, but I think ultimately people ended up believing that it actually was legitimate. Well, very sad news. It turns out that she had a miscarriage. Yeah, she posted about it on the gram. I'm not going to read the whole long post or anything, but yeah, pretty sad. I guess Diego's not going to be a dad after all, or at least not for the time being. I do believe he is still on tour out in Europe and doing quite well, so shout out to my man Diego and Annie. I'm really sorry what you guys are having to deal with and everything. Is super, super unfortunate. Sad face emoji. Next story. Okay, here's a little minor one. Some people are pretty upset with Dame Dash for posting an Instagram post that called for unity. Check out this post that Dame Dash posted. It says in this meme, the only thing that the establishment truly fears. And it shows a guy with dreadlocks, a black guy, and it shows a white guy with a bunch of tattoos and a Confederate flag hat and an American flag cut off. And it says, "I got your back, brother." And in his caption, he wrote, This would be logical. Combine forces and really get the money, but we've been programmed to hate each other, so we stay slaves to a broke rhythm and fight over dumb shit that doesn't matter. Mental slavery keeps everyone broke. Now, personally, I kind of like the point that he's making here, that we've created these identities, these cultural lines that are supposed to separate us, and we've sort of gotten away from the idea of everybody just getting along and trying to, reach unity. And now we've fully immersed ourselves in these separate camps, and it seems like with the media, they just want everybody to be at war, and it's really unfortunate. Anyway, so I like the post, but then a lot of people were really, really upset about this, and partially because the guy on the left is wearing a Confederate flag hat, which is considered by a lot of people to be a symbol of hatred. So I actually completely get where they're coming from, but then at the same time, I think that the overall idea is a good one, that everybody should be getting along, and I cannot blame Dame Dash for it. Next story. Okay, unfortunate news for any fans of Boosie Badazz. I, being one of them, I'm a very, very big fan of Boosie and a very big fan of any time he opens his mouth, because he's a hilarious and really kind of an oracle of a human being. Anyway, Boosie, he was driving down the road with a former NFL football player, and unfortunately was pulled over and arrested for drugs and guns. Yeah, he pulled over to a Chick-fil-A parking lot with this guy that he was hanging out with, and the cops came over because they said they had been seeing him driving erratically earlier, and they pulled over. They asked him what was going on. They smelled a ton of weed, and they arrested him, and they found a ton of weed and a bunch of cash and a whole bunch of guns. So now Boosie's locked up. He was actually just released on $3,500 bail, but I guess we're gonna have to wait a little while to find out exactly what is going on with Boosie. For the meantime, I would suggest you go check out some of those DJ Vlad interview clips he put up of him recently, because that stuff is very funny. Much respect to Boosie. Let's go. Okay, let's get into something that's both timely and extremely hip-hop. Justin Bieber, on April Fool's, he posted up a couple of photos of his girlfriend, and he made it seem like she was pregnant, and then he revealed a day or so later, hey, it was just a joke, she's not actually pregnant after all. And some of his fans were so mad about this. They consider it super, super offensive for him to joke around about pregnancies. I don't understand this logic at all, I'm gonna be totally honest with you, because in my head, it's like, okay, as a society, we have a few things that we have maybe deemed, too controversial to really joke about, like, rape, the Holocaust, slavery. Those are some of the things that, we try not to make jokes about as a society, because we understand that they're so harmful, so hateful, that people don't want to joke around them at all. As far as I'm concerned, having a baby is not in that category at all. The logic that people are going on is that they're basically saying, oh, well, there's a lot of women who have miscarriages, there's a lot of women who have had abortions, and pregnancy is no joke to them. Justin Bieber is still allowed to make a joke, regardless of the fact that you think that it might be a little controversial. I don't understand this logic at all. I think it's totally crazy. I mean, think about it. A lot of us out there, probably most of us, have had a loved one die from cancer, right? I still think you can make a joke that references cancer, That doesn't mean that it's funny to say, like, oh, hey, your grandfather died of cancer. No, that would be very, very offensive. But I definitely think that there needs to be room in society for people to be able to joke around about things. And the fact that they're trying to remove this from Justin Bieber's life is just so offensive to me. So big shout out to the Biebs. And this is an important one. MGK and Jeezy, well, they were actually spotted in Vegas in the same nightclub, and they have apparently put an end to their beef. Yeah, you remember that they put out songs about each other during that whole Eminem fiasco. It didn't really get quite as big as the Eminem thing, but MGK and Jeezy, they were going at it pretty tough. Well, they were in Vegas, and they were at a show, and they ended up throwing down. And actually, if you look, MGK posted a photo on his Instagram with no caption that shows them together, and it's terrible quality. It looks like, I don't know who the hell took this, but he did not bother to get the high-res version of the photo. But anyway, I guess that's nice to see them back friends again. Actually, somebody recently told me that MGK hates me. So that's pretty good news to find out. And actually, it's pretty funny because MGK asked for a No Jumper interview a while ago, and I turned him down, which is probably part of why he hates me. But anyway, MGK hates me, which means he probably hates you too. All right, two more stories before we wrap this one. NBA Youngboy back in February was arrested because he had his hotel room raided by the police, and they found less than an ounce of marijuana. Yeah, just for the record, I still can't believe that there are places in America where having less than an ounce of marijuana is still a crime. It's pretty unbelievable and just terrible and unfair. Anyway, NBA Youngboy has deleted his Instagram and Twitter. Apparently the pressure has gotten to him. He's been going through a whole lot of stuff. Him and Floyd Mayweather's daughter have been going crazy on the gram and stuff, but I don't know. He decided to delete his stuff. Now the question is this because of his drug charges, or is it because he's planning on dropping new music? It could be one, it could be the other. We don't really know. NBA Youngboy, the GOAT, needs a no jumper interview. Let's just be totally honest. I don't care about your drug charges. I'm not going to ask about that. I'm not going to ask anybody any of your other charges either. I just want an NBA Youngboy interview. That's all I want. I'm putting it out there into the universe. Please, somebody make it happen. Next story. Okay, so for our final story here today, let's check in on A Boogie and his love life. Well, A Boogie actually posted up on Instagram this post, and he wrote, SMH, it really takes losing what you have to love and appreciate what you had. I hate to be the type to regret things, but I fucked up like crazy with you, and I regret every little mistake, even though it made me open my eyes and realize what really matters to me. I love you no matter what, and I will never disrespect you in any type of way ever again, whether you accept me after all I've done or not. You are everything a man can ask for, and you gave me a beautiful family to love, prosper, and cherish. I was never an outspoken person with anyone but you, my best friend. I can't even imagine starting over. SMH, I want you more than ever right now, but I truly understand if I'm not forgiven. You will always be my best friend and true love. Love at heart. So he messed up. He got caught cheating, basically, is what he's saying here. He got caught cheating, and he wants his girl back, and that is just really, really friggin' adorable. I'm not terribly well-versed in A Boogie's love life, so I don't actually know who the girl is or anything, which is probably good. If I were him, I would probably want it that way, with guys like me just not even knowing who the hell he's dating. But yeah, kind of cute, kind of sad. Figured it'd be a nice way to sort of wrap up this new disjointed news video that I'm dropping on you guys today. I'm going to try to get back into the groove of these things. I'm going to try really hard, so hopefully you guys can have a lot more of these in the near future. I appreciate everybody who watched this. Please head on over to nojumper.com and show us some support. We got a lot of big stuff coming, and also if you could smack a like on this and also drop a comment, that would be hugely appreciated. Plus, you know you're going to want to subscribe because we're getting close to that million. We got like 100,000 to go, and then we're going to be at that million, and that's going to be a very, very beautiful thing. Thank you very much to everybody who watched this. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.